some foundation from earlier that's kind of wore off. So I'm just going to mattify my face using this Sephora mineral powder just to mattify my face. Next, moving to brows, I'm going to be taking my Dip Brow by Anastasia in the color dark brown and my Anastasia number 7 brush. Next, taking my Anastasia palette and my MAC 217, I'm going to be dipping into Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange. I'm going to be mixing those two, and I'm going to start mapping out my crease, and I am going to be going up a little higher than my normal crease line, and I am going to be winging it out a little bit more towards the outer part of the eyebrow tail. Now I'm going to be taking my concealer and a flat brush, and I'm just going to be cleaning up the crease. I'm going to be cutting it, just making everything very crisp and very clean, just to create the illusion of a higher crease. And then I am going to be setting that with an eyeshadow. Now taking a short bristled brush, and I'm going to be dipping into Cypress Umber from the palette, which is a dark chocolate brown. I'm going to be kind of defining the crease line and just taking it about maybe 3/4 of the way in, and then just going to be blending upwards. Alright, so I've added winged liner and I've added falsies. Now we're moving on to concealing. I'm going to be doing the upside down triangle, and I'm using the Fit Me concealer by Maybelline. Now taking my Lorac Pro contour palette, I'm going to be taking medium contour and light contour with a small pencil brush, and I'm going to just be contouring my nose. I'm going to be doing this more dramatic than usual because this is a Halloween look. Now to finish the lower lash line, I'm going to be taking Burnt Orange and Cypress Umber, and I'm just going to be running that along the lower lash line from inner corner to outer corner. Now for the fun part, I'm going to be taking some lash glue and I'm going to be applying that all in the areas where I would normally contour. I personally always contour on my cheekbones, my temples and forehead, and also the jawline. In this particular video, I did not do it on my jawline just because I felt like it was just going to get way too messy, hitting my neck and all that. So I just stuck to the cheekbones and the temples and forehead. So while the latex is drying, I figured I will do a little twist on my eyeliner. I'm going to go ahead and first set it with the Cypress Umber all along the lash line. Instead of taking it to the inner corner, I'm actually going to drag it down towards my nose contour. It's gonna kind of gonna give like that Egyptian cat eye effect to it. So I just thought that was a nice little twist to do to my eyeliner since I never do that. All right, since the first layer of this is almost completely dry, I'm going to go in and add a second layer to this. I'm just going to go directly over the same spots that I had earlier, and I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so this is about 90% dry. Now I'm just going to take a tissue paper and I'm just going to kind of dab into the latex, and this is just going to give it some texture, so it doesn't appear so smooth once I put the foundation on. It's kind of like jagged and all raggedy looking. Next, taking my foundation, I'm going to be putting that on my flat foundation brush, and I'm going to be going all over the liquid latex. You don't have to blend it perfectly to make it match or anything because we're going to be going over it and adding more detail to it. So even though it looks patchy right now, that's completely fine. So taking some tweezers, I try to go in and just start picking at it, and just kind of start pulling some pieces out. But as you're going to see in a little bit, that actually didn't quite work for me so well. So then I decided to take some little like lash scissors and just very carefully kind of slit down the latex and then pull it apart with the tweezers. If you do it from the beginning with the tweezers, it's going to get kind of messy and you might pull the whole thing off on accident. So I don't recommend that. I would recommend just gently starting out with the scissors and then pulling with the tweezers. Next, taking my Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D, I'm going to be taking the black color from the palette, and I'm going to just start filling in the inside part of the wounds. That's just the part that I wanted to look the darkest, just so that it looks like there's depth in there. So I'm going to be doing that all along the insides of the wounds. Next, taking a fluffy blending brush and then going back into the Anastasia palette, I'm taking Red Ochre, which is just a matte red color. And I'm just going to be blending that all over the wound, actually on the inside and the outside. This is just going to give like a bruised appearance and like a red, like it's kind of like just bleeding through the inside of it. So here I just went back in with the tweezers and just kind of started picking at it some more, just so there could be more texture to the wound and just so it doesn't look so smooth. I'm just peeling the outer parts. You want to be careful with this because if you tug too hard, you can take too much off or actually pull the whole thing off. So just kind of pick and choose where you want to add more texture and just pick off the sides of the wound. Alright, I'm just going to be doing a little bit more shading with the red and the black, just making sure that I have all the edges filled in and there's no gaps of my regular flesh peeking through. Just blending and just adding more colors just to give different dimensions to the skin and make it look like there's depth and bruising, and just make it look as real as possible. Next, taking a red lipstick or red paint, whichever you have on hand, you're going to be taking some on a brush and just kind of stippling it on everywhere around the wound, in the wound. There's no perfect way to do this. The messier, the better, I think. So just kind of pick and choose where you would feel that it looks best. And then I didn't have any blood, no fake blood on me, so I used a red lip gloss. This is actually very pigmented for a cheap lip gloss. So I'm going to be adding that all around the wound and kind of just splattering it on wherever. Like I said, there's no perfect way to add this. I think the messier, the better, the more realistic it looks. So just get in there and add you some fake blood, girl. Next, we're going to be taking our baking powder because after all, we are contouring, so we must bake our face. I'm going to be taking my Airspun powder and just kind of baking underneath the contour just to sharpen it up a little more and make it look really clean. Next, take any lipstick you want. I took Diva by MAC. It's just a very deep red wine matte color. I'm applying that all over the lips. Alright, now you just dust off the baking powder and you are all finished. You have mastered the art of contouring. You have cut those cheekbones in all of the right places. You are snatched and you are ready to go, girl.